CP.
Are you serious? He's gone! 40, 30, Portis all the way! Touchdown Redskins, 64 yards!
26 minutes.
He's pretty sharp. He'll coach you up on the Miami guys and everything else. He's kind of fun to be around. Got an opinion, too.
I've been blessed to have the opportunity to go out and be myself and say the things that I say. And, for the outside world, they can deal with it how they deal with it.
26 minutes with Clinton Portis. CP. Teach him something.
Welcome to 26 minutes. It's about to go down. Redskins get their first win. Joined today by Gabe Henderson. Monica McNutt still on vacation. Monica has taken the longest vacation. She said it's her birthday, right? But she's taking off all month.
I guess it's her birthday month.
It's her birthday month. She's celebrating. Every time I look up, she's on TV. She's in New York. She's doing something. Hey, Monica, we don't need you anymore. Gabe, no. Honestly, congratulations to Monica. She's not in the house, but she'll be back soon, hopefully. Until then, Gabe Henderson holding it down. So, Skins get a win.
Yep.
Much needed win. Mm-hmm. What's the vibe?
Vibe is good right now. I think, personally, I feel like it's the best the locker room has been so far, and I think everybody's happy because receivers got touches, running backs got touches. I think it was the first game this year where we had more rushing attempts and passing attempts. And, talk about balanced offense. It makes everybody happy. Offensive line played well. So, defense played well. It's just a matter of, keeping it consistent and keep moving forward with what's going on, building on it.
Was it a big difference? Just watching the game, did you see a big difference in game plans or approach? Or what did you notice in the approach of Callahan compared to Gruden outside of rushing?
Man, so I was talking to one of the coaches, and they said the night before the game they had a team meeting, and Callahan literally called everybody out by name and was basically saying, I got your back, Quentin Dunbar, I got your back, Landon, basically, making it personable. And it was after the meeting, everybody wanted to run through a wall. I'm not saying Jay Gruden has never called everybody out by name, but they said it was just a different kind of aura in the building, having a coach basically say, hey, you stand up. You got this stat, you got that stat. We need that this game. We 0-0 right now. So I could just tell, when they ran out the tunnel against Miami, it was just a different feel. Everybody was just, ready to play. The first play of the game was, a negative 2-yard rush, by AP. But still, you can tell, all right, they're gonna have to keep tackling if they want to stop this offense. We saw it on the defensive side of the ball, 5 sacks. It was just a continual thing of, it was consistent.
So, to me, I think the approach was they actually went to attack. Mm-hmm. Offensively and defensively. They attacked, which is something we hadn't seen. He took his shots, he used the run game to set up play-action shots down the field. You put Terry in a situation who's playing outstanding. I might add, you put Terry in a situation in mismatch, which we don't, prior to that, we hadn't been seeing. And I think the run game actually resembled the passing game. And I think that was the biggest addition that he brought in because you saw toss plays, you saw counter plays, you saw, how can the Dolphins had no way of knowing, hey, they're coming out running counter. Right. We missed that counter run, but having that opportunity, it was downhill runs. It wasn't lateral. It wasn't sideways. It was an opportunity to let AP square up his shoulders. Mm-hmm. And I think for AP, just getting that opportunity meant a lot. Now, he left a lot of yards on the field, which me and Kula discussed, but I think for AP, it's better to leave those yards and learn coming off a win than it is a loss. Right. Because if you're coming off a loss and you get to, oh, man, we could have won the game, but coming off a win is easier to correct. So when you look around, and then we had a discussion about the players. It was Trent Williams, Jordan Reed, Alex Smith, and that's about $45 million.
It's a lot
in cap for 3 guys who have yet to touch the field, right? And just saying, how do you improve your roster? How do you add on? And it was to touch on the guys that you're paying, your big-time players are not available. And, Alex freak injury, Trent holdout situation, Jordan Reed concussion protocol. You can't control that.
Right.
You can't control it. But having to move past it, having other guys, to me it seems like a flip. You're going to have to flip this locker room, and you got to kind of get the keys over to the young guys because Jonathan Allen on the defensive side of the ball, who I think has improved. I don't think he was healthy early on. The last 2 weeks he's been in the backfield. Pain, Ioannidis. Once Ioannidis comes along, you're starting to. You got young guys, 3, 2, 1 years, and then offensively, you got Terry. This is becoming Terry's team. Right. So you got to get him the ball. When you look at these guys, I think you have talent. I think you have potential, and everybody look at like, oh well, you went to Miami, you won by 1 point.
A win is a
win.
Is a win.
when you've been losing, man, a win is a win. So for them to get that win and get the belief, now you got a tough opponent coming in the San Francisco 49ers. But after this, I feel as if after the 49ers, which is going to be a tough game, every game after that is a winnable game.
Right.
So you could actually get on a run, go on a little streak, and get your confidence up. What I need to see in this team, and not that I'm counting them out this weekend, but I need to see fight. I need to see continued improvement. Like I saw the offensive line go from 10 holding penalties per week to last week they didn't have a flag on the field.
Crazy.
That's what a difference a week makes.
And I think, you talk about the offensive line. Not many people are giving Eric Flowers credit. He came in with so low expectations. We saw all the Twitter comments and everything, but like this dude showed out last week. I think there's plenty of plays last week where he opened up so many holes for AP. Pulling guard, pulling around, leading, blocking, blocking 2 people at a time. And having his, his tenacity, his work ethic that he put in this summer is starting to pay off. And then having Brandon Sheriff back, having a guy like that on the other side of the ball, it's really going to help open up the pass game because you got so many dynamics now. And like you said, 49ers, they are a really good defense, but I feel like they do make a lot of mistakes. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's really good, but he turns the ball over. There's a lot of things on film that I think the Redskins can take advantage of, and they just can't beat themselves. Well,
speaking of taking advantage, our performance player of the week, a guy who took advantage of everything presented by Bed Gear, the official mattress and pillow partner of the Washington Redskins, of course, it's Terry McLaurin.
How can it not be?
How can you know what? Dunbar actually, I probably should give this to Dunbar.
Really?
I honestly should give this to Dunbar. But Terry, going over 100 yards again, 2 touchdowns, huge plays. What was most impressive to me about Terry was the recovery after the drop. Everybody looks at the touchdowns and oh man, we scored. But the recovery after the drop. Because when they came back to him, it was smooth. It was like, I know I dropped it. Come back to me. And I thought that was a great call by Coach Callahan to come back to him. And as you said, he stood up and said, hey, I got your back. That's how you prove you got my back. Don't get down on me. Come back to me. And you came back quick. The next series, you came right back to me, and Terry responded. So that was the most impressive to me. That's how he edged Dunbar out for this week's Performance Player of the Week. The fantasy football season is right around the corner, and this season there are more ways to win than ever because FanDuel has more ways to win cash prizes and once-in-a-lifetime experiences during every single game, every single week. Never played FanDuel fantasy football before? Great, because new users get a $5 bonus with their first deposit. Sign up for the FanDuel now and get $20 in total bonus. Just make your first deposit to get started, and you'll get an extra $5 in site credit every week for 4 weeks. Go to FanDuel.com or download the FanDuel app. Helping people improve their lives is what should drive business. That's the belief at Koch Industries, which employs more than 65,000 people across America. The team at Koch works together to meet the world's changing needs in transportation, medical care, water filtration, household goods, energy-efficient building products, and everyday technologies, all while consuming fewer resources. See the innovations firsthand at kochindustries.com. Redskins defensive lineman, number 93, Jonathan Allen, hates to lose. So he's teaming up with Papa John's and you to help donate to the Sasha Bruce Youth Work, helping homeless children in our region every day. Team 93 needs you to make it a winning day for your family and these special children. You'll get a large 2-topping pizza and an order of wings for just $20. And Papa John's will donate 93 cents to Sasha Bruce Youth Work for every single order. Play to eat, play to give, but play to win, because nobody wants to lose. Welcome back to 26 Minutes as it's time to take a look at the NFC East. You know, it's so crazy how week to week, everything changes. You know, the Cowboys jumped out and the Cowboys was America's team again. And you look at the Eagles and they came back and they beat us. And, you know, you're looking at Carson Wentz. It's like, okay, here go the Eagles. And the Giants, you know, you're missing Saquon, your best player. You traded away a lot of your pieces. No one really expected a lot. Daniel Jones come in, bring some excitement to the stadium. The Redskins at 0-5, every fan around America feel like, oh, it's over. But in reality, you're 2 games out of first place. 2 games out of first place. After everything that has happened, you're 2 games out of first place.
I think you said it earlier in the year. You were like, whoever wins this division won't win more than 10 games this year. You said something like, I mean, because that's how it usually is. Usually the winner of the NFC East is like 10-6 or 9-7. I mean, we saw the Giants back in the day win a Super Bowl at 9-7. So, I mean, I think it's the toughest division. I wouldn't say the most talented, but I would say it's definitely the toughest division in all of the NFL since you played.
Yeah, when I look at this division, I think what makes it so tough is everybody can beat everybody.
Right.
You know, like no matter what kind of year is going on, sometimes a team just has your number within this division. You know, you look at a lot of divisions, especially NFC East. It's automatic. I mean, the AFC East is automatic. Hey, we know who won, the Patriots. You know, you look at the AFC North, and it's kind of a battle between Baltimore and Pittsburgh throughout the years because Cleveland and Cincinnati have been irrelevant. So, you know, it's like, oh, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. And, you know, just when you hop around, it's really, you know, the NFC North is a tough division too. So when you look at the Vikings and Green Bay and Chicago, you know, those teams, the Detroit Lions, are normally at the bottom of that division, but Green Bay and Minnesota and Chicago is competitive, you know. So when you look around, I think just anybody can beat anybody, and that's normally the case in divisional football, you know, because you're so familiar with the teams you're playing. And you know, coaches mean a lot. It's a lot of change within, but when you get to this NFC East, man, it's kind of like, hey, you know what? The bottom of the barrel, whoever it is, can beat the top dog just because of the rivalry. So looking forward to this NFC East, if the Skins can win the NFC East, when you feel all is lost, you got an opportunity to still go to the playoffs.
It's all about momentum. And, I mean, it's who's hot at the right time. I mean, we're in the second – I look at the season as 16 games, 4 quarters in the season. So, I mean, you look at the second quarter, third quarter, fourth, I mean, you just got to keep gaining momentum. And I think the Redskins can pull something off. I mean, if these teams – I mean, you see what the Eagles are starting to get a little banged up. The Cowboys, we don't know what's going on there. I mean, the Giants, you never know what's going to go on with the Giants. I mean, we just got to control what we can control. And I think winning last week, even though it was by 1 point, that does help because they know how to win now. The locker room knows and understands, like, hey, this feeling is good. Like, how can we get back to this feeling week in, week out, and go from there? And I feel like if they keep that up, the NFC East, it could be up for grabs. We
were having a good discussion on quarterbacks, and I want to chime in because Dak was so Mr. Everything. Early on in the season, he couldn't do any wrong, and it was Dak is gonna get $200 million when the Cowboys was 3-0. So Dak gotta get $300 million, and now it's like no one wants to talk about Dak.
Right.
And when you look at these quarterbacks, you know, with the pressure that's coming, and you look, I was thinking about this in baseball. Shout out to the Nats for kicking butt right now, but I was looking at this in baseball. For all the teams that's competitive. And, right now in the playoffs, the teams with the big name players with the big contracts, which is the Angels, the Padres, the Phillies, these teams that paid these mega deals, all are at home. And these teams that let them go, the Nats, and losing Bryce Harper, it changed the locker room. And it helped them, when you look at Manny Machado and with the Dodgers, for the Dodgers to move on and not tie up their money with him. So when you move on, you look at the quarterback situations, right? And these quarterbacks that everyone gets excited about, we're seeing Kyle Allen in Carolina present a problem. This man is becoming a problem. You look at Gardner Minshew, and they just paid $100 million for a quarterback. So when you look at these guys, it's like, how do you get it right, and how do so many teams get it wrong at this quarterback position?
I think it's a luck thing, but at the same time, it's so many dynamics because you got to strategize. I mean, coaching, so much goes into it. But at the same time, I'll always say I'm a firm believer that a lot of rookie quarterbacks, they are good, but they have that sophomore slump because that rookie year, you don't really have film on these guys. So you really don't know what to say. Like Dak Prescott went 13-3 or 12-4 his rookie year, and it's like, oh man, this is Mr. Everything. And then his sophomore year, it was different. Same thing with Jared Goff. But at the same time, it's like when you put their resumes, just speaking of Dak Prescott, when you put his resume against every other quarterback that's been in the league, stats, wins, playoff appearances, you got to pay the man. But you are right. It's like, where's the talk now? I mean, he's not doing what he's supposed to do. But the Cowboys, if they won in 15 and they win on week 17 of the season, that's their first win. It's gonna be like, hey, Cowboys win the Super Bowl next year. You know how that works.
So do we have a problem brewing in Charlotte? Is Cam in trouble?
I think
in Carolina?
I think so. Because it's being from North Carolina myself. My brother lives in Charlotte. It's Cam everything.
Hey, you remind me of the Wood when you just said that. Hey, where you from?
I'm Mike from North Carolina. And I like sports.
Gabe from North Carolina. All right. So as you were saying,
yeah. So I mean, I feel like a lot of fans were unhappy with Cam Newton, just his antics, and then not winning. I mean, when you go from Rookie of the Year and they go to leading the team to a Super Bowl, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations from there. And then when you keep dwindling and then, you're not making the playoffs and then, you're throwing interceptions, fans they look for something new. Yeah, you are the face of the city. Charlotte's a small market, so you need a face other than Michael Jordan in the city. But
well, the face of that organization has shifted to Christian McCaffrey.
Exactly.
It's hands down, Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
So,
and they're winning.
That's it. They're winning with Kyle Allen. They're winning, and now you have a quarterback dilemma, a quarterback situation because Cam was due next. Cam was due for a big payday.
Yeah.
So if you're the Carolina Panthers, do you pay him or do you move on?
How many years? I don't know how many years he has left on his contract. If he has one more year, I will just let that year play out and see what he does. If he doesn't play this year, I will give him an off season to win his job back and then see what he does next year and then pay him if he meets or exceeds expectations.
Speaking of paying, we got to pay the bills. Hey there, it's CP, and one of my favorite things to do is play games from the Virginia Lottery, and they just introduced a new game. It's called Print and Play Rolling Jackpot. It's a Virginia-only instant win game, and it has a starting jackpot of $50,000. The jackpot increases with each ticket sold until the jackpot is won. There are no play slips to fill out. And no waiting for a drawing. Just purchase, play, and check to see if you won. It's that easy. A $2 ticket can win 20% of the jackpot. A $5 ticket can win 50% of the jackpot. And a $10 ticket can win 100% of the jackpot. For each price point, the odds of winning the top prize are 1 in 240,000. Look for it at your favorite Virginia Lottery retailer. Redskins fans, join us to celebrate NFL 100 with Fantennial Weekend. On October the 19th at 2:30 p.m., visit the National Harbor for Redskins Fantennial Alumni Fan Day, a free event featuring Redskins alumni appearances, the Redskins Marching Band, and the First Ladies of Football. The Fantennial Weekend celebration will conclude with the Redskins alumni homecoming game at FedEx Field on October the 20th against the 49ers. For more information, visit redskins.com/Fantennial. Huddle up with the DC Lottery for the Lucky Tailgate Tour, Thursday, October the 17th at the District Wharf from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We are celebrating the Touchdown DC Scratcher. Still 2 top prizes of $50,000 available, with a winning roster packed full of exceptional scoring opportunities, including cash prizes, official Redskins team gear, and game tickets to see the Redskins pair up against San Francisco and Detroit. Get on the winning team with the DC Lottery. Check DCLottery.com for all the details. DC Lottery, lots of people win.
I'm trying to meet that boy Clint Portis, though. They say that boy, they say he's smooth on his feet. I'm trying to teach him something.
Teach him something.
Teach him something.
As we were discussing on 26 Minutes, episode 60, we're moving along. We're 2 episodes a week. Yeah, this shooting them out. So as we were discussing, we were talking about Cam in Carolina, but when you just hop around the league, you got other guys. You know, Teddy Bridgewater doing pretty good down in New Orleans with Drew Brees sitting on the sideline. Totally different situation, because although Teddy Bridgewater is winning, when Drew Brees say, hey, you know what, I'm ready. I'm telling you, the moment Drew Brees say, it's going to be like Tecmo Bowl. You remember when that guy come back from injury, you waiting on the game and you see him run out on the field? That's how Drew Brees coming out. The moment he comes back, he's back on the field.
Man, but he hot, though. Like, if Teddy we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. If Teddy Bridgewater stays hot, how do you take him? I get it. Like, he's done a lot. Drew Brees has done a lot for the city. But it's like, what if is it different in New Orleans? Is it not about what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, in this case with Drew Brees, who just so happened to go down, had nothing to do with performance. Whereas I feel like in Carolina, a lot of people, as you said, were getting upset with Cam's antics or Cam Newton, period. You know, I think living in Carolina, to see the departure of Steve Smith, it's been an issue since, because that was Steve Smith's team, and they kind of took it away and gave it to Cam. So it's always been like a rift amongst Carolinians in that situation. So when you look at it, I think this is one of those situations that you got an opportunity to save a lot of money and just move on from Cam Newton. Whereas in New Orleans, Drew Brees got the keys to the city. He's gonna leave. Drew Brees and his coach should have that relationship of Tom Brady and his coach, because Sean Payton and Drew Brees, that's a marriage. Like Brady and Belichick, that's a marriage. We leaving together. We leaving together. We came together. We leaving together. It's no you without me. It's no me without you.
I feel you.
So that's how simple it's going to be.
But like you said earlier, we do have an issue in Jacksonville though with Nick Foles. How do you think that's going to play out? How should it play out?
If Minshew Mania picks up, I see they're selling the little mustache, the little Minshew mustache, and the city buys in, then you got an opportunity. Hey, Nick Foles, what have you done for me lately? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's one of those situations that could possibly change. Even when you look at somewhere else where it's in Houston that Deshaun Watson is playing outstanding. And we were going to discuss the early MVP odds, and I know you mentioned him as your guy. So
Russell Wilson's my guy.
Oh, you said Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
so
Russell
I'm
Wilson.
thinking, okay. So I'm thinking Deshaun Watson because of the topic we were discussing off air. So Russell Wilson is playing unbelievable. You know what else Russell Wilson is doing? Bringing the team, because you've always looked at Seattle as a defense. And now that defense has kind of broken up, it's offensively. And Russell Wilson is putting it all on his shoulders. His receivers are gone. Yep. You know, his running back is gone. You know, you look at Marshawn Lynch, and now all of a sudden it's Carson, and, you know, it's kind of a running back by committee. The one thing that's still the same is Russell Wilson.
Right.
And he's putting that city on his back, you know, and he's doing such amazing things. Like last week having the issue of
with his
no
helmet.
signal. Yeah, you know, you can't get the call in from the sideline. And I got this.
Yep.
You go on and orchestrate the game-winning drive. That's really impressive. So that sure, you could chime in on.
Yeah, you talk about that. We were joking off air, and I kind of want to get your opinion on it because from that last drive, I mean, he called the plays by himself. Granted, he's not the coach, but if the Seahawks, if they lose a game in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and his headset working,
they're gonna say, "Turn it off, turn that headset off, get it out of here."
So I can see that, but I mean, bro, he's playing lights out. 1,700 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Like
that's impressive.
That's early MVP candidate. I know your guy is Christian McCaffrey, but
man, that's Christian McCaffrey. I don't know. Deshaun Watson making the case. Deshaun Watson just went on the road and beat the Kansas City Chiefs after the week before. Who did they beat? He did something impressive.
Yeah.
I think he had 400 or 500 yards, 400 or 500 yards passing the week before against Atlanta, in the shootout. So when you look around, like Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson being the talk of the NFL, we were talking about the African-American quarterback and how they're taking over the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Lamar Jackson and all this. Well, he can only run. And, you think he can only run, you want to. And he zoomed one of them bullets off in there. And you see Hollywood Brown go 60 yards with it. So when you look at the transition or the evolution, because early on, Bruce Arians had Jameis playing pretty good. The Tampa Bay Bucks are to be taken serious right now, and they're doing this without even using Mike Evans. So just bouncing around the league, Teddy Bridgewater, who you think should replace Drew Brees, but it ain't gonna happen. Not happening, Captain.
I mean, even Kyler Murray had a good game. I mean, he's starting to. I can tell he's starting to find his groove now in that offense. I mean, what they've won 2 out of their last 3 or 2 out of their last 4. So, I mean, he's starting to get comfortable. But I feel like the NFL, as a quarterback, you have to be more mobile now. I mean, Tom Brady's still trying to prove that wrong. But, I mean, you still got to – back in the day, it was, you got to be a pocket quarterback. You got to stand in the pocket, throw it 30, 40 times. But now, like you said, your Lamar Jacksons, or your Jacoby Brissetts, a lot of these African-American quarterbacks are starting to change the stigma and, the stigma of the professional quarterback.
It's crazy how Jacoby Brissett replaces Andrew Luck, and you haven't heard anything about Andrew Luck this season.
Crazy.
Right? Mm-hmm. You haven't heard any, oh, man, we want Luck back, or let's come out of retirement. It's been a smooth transition because Jacoby Brissett is doing really good things. So just to see that, to see guys step in, what's been impressive to me is all the guys is getting an opportunity that wouldn't normally have an opportunity. Brissett, Bridgewater, Minshew, these guys is taking advantage, Kyle Allen, these guys is taking advantage of their opportunity. Right. It's kind of one of them situations where we never know because they're number 2.
Right.
And now that number 2 is number 1, it's like, hey, let's talk about it, number 1. Let's move on from you.
Right.
So and speaking of moving on, I think it's time for us to move on with episode 60 of 26 Minutes. We out.
Stay tuned for an update from Redskins Park.
Are uninvited pests ruining your plans? Let PMSI, the pest control partner of the Washington Redskins, handle it for you. Call today for your free inspection, and they'll work around your schedule to provide you the best solution possible to defend your home territory against pests of all kinds, including mold. Visit mypmsi.com for the game plan to control the pests on your home turf. That's mypmsi.com.
At Coke, our 67,000 U.S. employees make things that make your game days better, like fertilizer for greener turf and stronger paper products for tailgating. Viewing the game from your couch? Coke also makes the electronic components and TVs and smart devices so you can watch your Redskins victory anywhere. Coke, we make that. See it all at KOCHmakesthat.com. That's CokeMakesThat.com.
Locally owned Novec has competitive rates and some of the highest customer satisfaction ratings among electric utilities in Virginia. Novec members are receiving more than $4 million in cashback credits in December. and they enjoy the most reliable power in the region. Novec is growing its renewable energy supply, including more solar. Novec, power you can trust.
Time to tailgate. We have my Honda CRV with class-leading cargo space, so I can bring the grill. Cousin Bobby's Honda Pilot with seating for 8, and my brother's Honda Ridgeline loaded with fun features like in-bed speakers and an in-bed trunk. Nothing left to do now but sit back and wait for kickoff. Who wants a hot dog?
Get more this season with a great deal on a new Honda, perfect for tailgating. See your local Honda dealer today.
This is the Redskins Park Update. I'm Larry Michael. Coming up Sunday, 1 o'clock, the Redskins and Niners. It is the alumni homecoming game. If you're headed to the game, get there early. Sonny Jurgensen to be honored in the pregame. Chris Samuels inducted into the Ring of Fame at halftime. Coming up for the Redskins, back on the practice field on Wednesday. Go to Redskins.com and the Redskins app. After practice, it'll be Bill Callahan, interim head coach for the Redskins, at the podium. Also on Thursday and Friday, you're going to hear from Kevin O'Connell and Greg Minuski in this Redskins Park Update.